When I was a child, I was forever being told not to be selfish. And as I think I've mentioned elsewhere, it is one of the basic tenets of life coaching that you should be selfish. Because if you're selfish, you look after yourself rather than being drained by other people. You're therefore able to give them more. Now, I say when I was a child, I was forever being told not to be selfish, and I don't honestly think I was. Not particularly, certainly not any more than anybody else. And I mention this as a preamble to a question that is at least known of nowadays. I don't know if it's actually mentioned very much, but the question is, what's in it for me? Now, a lot of people in hearing that will think, well, that's a very selfish thing about what's in it for you. But as I've said, if you don't put yourself first, at least sometimes, it's going to be a very debilitating experience. But on the positive side, it's necessary very often to think, well, what's in it for me? Let's say that you're discussing something with someone and things are getting somewhat heated and potentially out of control. What should you do? Well, literally take a step back. It only has to be half an inch, because that gives you a slightly different perception of what's going on. And think, what outcome do I want out of this? In other words, what's in it for me? What would be the best outcome for everybody concerned? Once you break the spell of habitual responses and perceptions and behaviours, which takes a bit of effort, but it can be done, you can then decide, what exactly do I want out of this and how do I do it? In Neuro-Linguistic Programming, there are various language models. There is a hypnotic language model, but that's got nothing to do with look into my eyes and you go to sleep immediately and do something ridiculous and then don't remember anything at the end of it, because that's not what hypnosis is about anyway. That's the Hollywood version, which you don't get when you go to a hypnotist, unless I'm very much mistaken. There is also a questioning model. There are also ways of embedding commands in what you say. These are the sort of things that you can learn from Neuro-Linguistic Programming, which is very powerful, and it works. You have to practice these techniques, obviously. You can find them in various books. It's a good idea, though, it's certainly in my experience, because before I trained in Neuro-Linguistic Programming, I read various books on the subject, and some of the topics just didn't make any sense at all. So really you need to talk to someone who has been trained and understands what they're talking about. But using different language models from Neuro-Linguistic Programming, you can shape the conversation, get things onto an even level, and work out the best arrangement, the best outcome for all concerned, including what's in it for you. So when you hear people say, well, what's in it for you, just remember there's a positive side. There's always more than one way of looking at things. So what's in it for you is something that you really do have to consider. And having considered it, then you need to know how to work it out and what to do. I say this can be found in books on Neuro-Linguistic Programming. Talk to someone who knows about these techniques and put them into action yourself. I think you'll see a great benefit when you do.